Whenever you're ready.
Andy Biggs, billionaire Karen Taylor Robson, and David Schweikert aren't worried about students like me trying to make rent or buy groceries. They're too busy cheering on Donald Trump's tariffs, the largest tax hike on Arizona families in 50 years. While we are paying more every week, they're bragging about the very policies making life so unaffordable for us. Good morning and thank you for being here. My name's Arizonans and I'm a senior at the University of Arizona. And we're here today to talk about how David Schweikert, Andy Biggs, and Karen Taylor Robson are backing cost hiking tariffs rather than listening to students like me who want lower prices. When you're a student or a recent graduate, you're already facing so many challenges: paying tuition, working part-time and full-time jobs, trying to get your first apartment. But in Arizona today, it feels like no matter how hard you work, you are falling further and further behind. Rent is higher than ever, groceries are more expensive every single week, coffee prices are up 20% compared to last year, the biggest increase since the 1990s. Beef is at records high, pushing more families to cut back on food that they once thought of as basic. And now we are being told that health premiums could rise more than 75% next year, the biggest increase in 15 years. These aren't just numbers, they're the real lives of students and young people like me. Friends who've had to work extra jobs, taking time away from school just to keep up with groceries and gas. People are skipping meals to save money or dropping classes because they can't pay tuition and make rent in the same month. And instead of standing up for us, Andy Biggs, Karen Taylor Robson, and David Schweikert are celebrating the very policies that are making our lives harder. David Schweikert bragged on TV that he was doing the calculations on tariffs and on the phone with the White House every day. Think about that. While we are stressing about rent, groceries, and gas, he's proudly saying that he was helping designing the tariffs that are driving up costs. Andy Biggs, on the other hand, has been one of the loudest voices defending Trump tariffs, calling them brilliant. Brilliant for who, Mr. Biggs? Not for me, not for students, not for families, and certainly not for Arizonans struggling at the checkout line. And Karen Taylor Robson, when Trump first unveiled these tariffs, she was encouraging him to go further, tweeting, "Keep up the fight, Mr. President." So while Arizona families were already paying more for food, gas, and housing, Karen was touting them. That's not leadership, that's cheerleading for making everything more expensive. Andy Biggs, Karen Taylor Robson, and David Schweikert know that these tariffs are raising our costs, and they do not care. They are proud of it. They are bragging about it, all while Arizonan students and families are struggling to pay for everything we need to survive. If Andy Biggs, Karen Taylor Robson, and David Schweikert can't stand up to Trump, how do we think that they are going to stand up for us as governor? That's why I'm proud to be here today with leaders who are actually fighting for us. Supervisor Cano and Cecilia Valdez, because young people in Arizona are paying attention and we are ready to make our voices heard. My generation won't stay silent. We see exactly who is fighting for us and exactly who's fighting for higher costs. And come election time, we will remember. Thank you.
Good job.
Good. Oh, yeah, you're good to start.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
you
ready
can
for
start.
you, sorry.
No, you're good, you're good.
Working families across Arizona are paying more groceries for let's start this again, okay. Sorry. Working families across Arizona are paying more for groceries, gas, and health insurance, all because of the cost hiking tariffs that Andy Biggs, Karen Taylor Robson, and David Schweikert are keep applauding. Schweikert bragged that he was doing the calculations. Biggs calls them brilliant. Taylor Robson calls Trump to keep fighting to hike costs. They're not standing for workers. They're celebrating raising our costs. I'm Cecilia Valdez, Defense Fund Oversight Committee Chair for Communication Workers of America, and I'm a member of Local 7026. Our union represents thousands of workers across the state: telecom, network technicians, call center agents, public employees, airport workers, media workers, the people who make Arizona run. And let me tell you, our members are stretched thinner than I've ever seen. I'm hearing from members who say their groceries bills have doubled in just a few weeks. Those higher costs are a way of their own paychecks before we even make it home. This is the reality for Arizona workers, and at the same time, Andy Biggs, Karen Taylor Robson, and David Schweikert are cheering on the tariffs and are making life more expensive for all our members and our families. Schweikert bragged that he was on the phone with the White House every day doing calculations on tariffs. Biggs voted twice against efforts to cancel them. Taylor Robson cheered on Trump while families paid more at the checkout line. They are standing for workers. They are defending families. They are celebrating policies that make money straight out. They're taking money straight out of our paychecks, and that's not right. And they can't claim that they don't know what's happening. Arizona businesses are sounding the alarm too. Robert Fulmer from the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild said, "We're getting ready to see some real hot price increases." Steve Churkey of the Arizona Restaurant Association admitted, "This is a long-standing tariff issue. Sadly, we have no choice but to push those to the menu price increases." And Bob Dixon, who runs the 1764 vineyards with his wife Julie in southern Arizona, said any tariff could have impact on the bottom line of wineries. Here we are running out on we are not running out on large margins. So it's not just workers, it's breweries, it's restaurants, it's vineyards, it's small businesses across Arizona. And still, Biggs, Taylor, Robson, and Schweikert defend the tariffs and applaud Trump. That is out of touch. That is disqualifying working families' defense. Deserve leaders who will fight and bring costs down, and not brag about raising them. If you can't even stand up to Trump to lower prices, how can we trust them to stand up for Arizona as governor? Our members will remember. Arizona families will remember. And next year we'll hold them accountable for siding with Trump and celebrating higher prices that are squeezing us. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecilia.
And good afternoon. My name is Andres Cano, and I represent District 5 on the Pima County Board of Supervisors. That includes downtown, midtown, the west side, the south side, and the Pascua Yaqui Nation. I'm so grateful to Eddie and to the Communication Workers of America and Cecilia for hosting us for today's important discussion. As has been said already, Arizonans are paying the price, and Washington politicians are looking the other way. From prescription drugs to kitchen cabinets to the morning cup of coffee, tariffs are driving prices higher for working families and small businesses throughout Arizona. Yet Andy Biggs, Karen Taylor Robson, and David Schweikert defend these tariffs every chance they get. They put Donald Trump first and Arizona last, celebrating the largest tax hike in half a century while our communities feel the squeeze. As supervisor for Pima County's 5th District, I see every day how these decisions ripple through our neighborhoods, and I'm not alone in saying enough is enough. The Arizona Chamber of Commerce calls tariffs a direct tax on consumers. The Greater Phoenix Chamber warns that they mean higher costs and fewer opportunities. The Farm Bureau, a conservative organization, says our farmers will bear the brunt. And in Nogales, produce importers are already seeing supply chains disrupted. These aren't partisan voices, they're Arizona voices from all walks of life, and they're all saying the same thing that Eddie, that Cecilia, and I have said today. Tariffs are hurting our economy, our workers, and our families. But instead of listening, three individuals are covering their ears. Andy Biggs, Karen Taylor Robson, and David Schweikert. They are cheering on Donald Trump to do even more damage. Take housing, for example. Last week, the president slapped a 50% tax on imported kitchen cabinets, 30% on furniture, and 25% on construction trucks. This situation is so bad that the National Association of Home Builders estimates that these taxes add nearly $11,000 annually to the cost of building a new home. Every $1,000 in added cost prices out more than 115,000 families nationwide. So you can do the math to figure out which side Andy, Karen, and David stand on. No one wants to make it harder to build or repair a home, but that's exactly what these tariffs are doing. They'll slow construction, drive up rent, and put home ownership even further out of reach for working Arizonans. And as it's been mentioned, all of this is coming on top of record grocery bills, rising gas prices, and health insurance premiums that are about to spike because of the one horrible big bill. Still, these politicians celebrate. They're not fighting for Arizona families. They're not even standing up for Arizona businesses. They're standing with one person, and that person is Donald Trump, even when it means raising costs on the people they're supposed to represent. So we're here to tell a truth, perhaps an inconvenient truth, but the reality is that these three folks, David, Karen, and Andy, have the power to make life easier for Arizonans, but they are choosing not to. They're more upset of upsetting Donald Trump than watching families struggle to afford the basics. Andy Biggs, Karen Taylor Robson, and David Schweikert have shown us who they are, politicians who put the president first and Arizona last. And we won't forget that. When Arizona families needed them most, these three individuals turned their backs. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join you today.